The NFL's always been a copycat league, so it's no surprise teams are trying to emulate what the Rams are doing. Everybody wants to find the next Sean McVay. A young offensive genius. Having great hair is optional, but it doesn't hurt. The Cardinals hired 39-year-old Kliff Kingsbury yesterday. The Packers hiring 39-year-old Matt LaFleur. Fans in Arizona and Green Bay probably excited, but it's important to remember there's no magic formula with this job. Sometimes you bring in the young guy and it works, like McVay so far with the Rams. Sometimes it doesn't work. Remember when the Raiders hired Lane Kiffin? Sometimes hiring a college coach works out, like Jimmy Johnson in Dallas. Sometimes it doesn't, like Washington hiring Steve Spurrier. Retreads can be a mixed bag. Andy Reid's done a great job in Kansas City, but often it doesn't work. Think of Jeff Fisher with the Rams. We could go on, but the point is predicting a future head coach's success is not going to be easy, no matter how great their hair is. Although in that department, Kliff Kingsbury is going to give Sean McVay a run for his money. I did find it interesting with the press release with the Cardinals yesterday on Kliff Kingsbury. Kingsbury, this is according to the Cardinals. They released this on their official website. Kingsbury is friends with Rams coach Sean McVay, the article on azcardinals.com originally stated. It's since been revised to say this: Rams coach Sean McVay, the 32-year-old offensive genius who has become the blueprint of many of the new coaching hires around the NFL, reached out to Kingsbury after Texas Tech, let him go to see if Kingsbury wanted to join the Rams staff for the stretch run in postseason as an offensive consultant. Kingsbury considered, but ultimately joined USC, end quote. The revision, I don't know if they really were trying to correct their error. The Cardinals, I think, have been made fun of by saying that, he's friends with Sean McVay. So you're hiring somebody because they're friends with Sean McVay, as if somehow by proxy he's going to be great. Hey, you want what they got? Well, we got him, or at least as close as we can get to Sean McVay. What if Sean McVay loses this Saturday to Dallas? What if they bow out again? I know that we love the look of this, like the presentation. You ever had a meal where, man, it looks good, and then all of a sudden you go, it was okay. Like the presentation. Like sometimes you'll watch a movie and it's stylized and you go, yeah, I look good. I've said what I've said about Kliff Kingsbury. I don't know him. I did like him when he came on. He seems like he's a good interview. He looks successful. Like if I'm casting a movie for a successful head coach, I think that's what teams are doing now. How's my coach look? Like Andy Reid would not get hired now in today's NFL for a variety of reasons. Or it'd be difficult for him because he doesn't look like a coach does. He's not young. He's not fresh, the offensive-minded guy. But then Bruce Arians gets a job with Tampa. Go figure, because he doesn't look like the typical coach. And he was a coach who told us, how long ago? 9 months ago? I'm done. I'm never going to coach again. It's a weird coaching carousel that we follow. You get on, you get off. Sometimes you try to get back on. Sometimes you can't get off. There are lifers in this business. But hiring Kliff Kingsbury because he's friends with Sean McVay is not selling me on anything. You used to have a coaching tree. Chuck Noll had a coaching tree. Bill Walsh a coaching tree. Bill Belichick has a coaching tree. We've already started a Friends of Sean McVay coaching tree here. Hey, let's slow down here. Because Sean McVay hasn't proven anything big picture. Do we like him? Does he look like a coach? Is he energetic? Yeah, he's a lot of things. I want to see overall success, big success. Then you have my attention here. Does Sean McVay have, all the blueprint elements, family tree? Yeah, he does. But the coaching tree, because you're friends with Sean McVay, I would not have put that in the press release. Like, hey, you got doubts about this? He's friends with Sean McVay. And maybe they're having fun with this. Maybe. But it struck me as, wow, that's one of the selling points? Now, you can try to sell this that, hey, he had Patrick Mahomes. Okay, had a losing record. Mike Leach had a winning record at Texas Tech. But you know what? Mike Leach doesn't present himself the way Kliff Kingsbury does or Sean McVay. He's crazy great, crazy genius, but you're not going to be hiring Mike Leach to run your team. And my point with Kliff Kingsbury, look, don't take the USC job. If I knew that there were teams interested in you in the NFL to be an offensive coordinator, I was told offensive coordinator. The Cardinals went above and beyond the call of duty and made him the head coach. That's different. I would have hired him as an offensive coordinator. I don't know if he can be a successful head coach because he wasn't at Texas Tech and he had Patrick Mahomes. But Arizona brings him in because they want to salvage that first-round pick with Josh Rosen. That's what this is about. We got to get a quarterback whisperer in here with Josh Rosen. And maybe get Larry Fitzgerald back one more time. And even Matt LaFleur with Green Bay. These could be one of those where you go, man, I didn't see that one coming. You know, Sean McVay at least had a pedigree with his family. And he was considered a bright, offensive-minded guy with Washington. And he's done well with the Rams. But if you're going to go, well, the NBA's been looking for the next Michael Jordan for how long? 20 years? You know, Brad Stevens, you're going to find the next Brad Stevens as coach of the NBA. Like, it's dangerous when you do that. But everybody, it's a copycat league, so you're trying to find that. In Arizona, hiring Kliff Kingsbury, because he looks successful doesn't mean he'll be successful. Why wasn't he successful at Texas Tech? Because he wasn't. He had a losing record. And, you know, going to USC was not the right move in the first place, in my opinion, because if you're successful, the head coach keeps his job. By the way, USC looks terrible with this, with how this all played out. Like, you bring him in, and all of a sudden, not going to let him interview, and then you let him interview, and then, you know, once I found out he was interviewing, that's why I said it yesterday in kind of cryptic terms, he wasn't coming back. You know, didn't have a big buyout. He was gone. But I thought offensive coordinator was going to be the role for him in the NFL. And if he was going to take a job in college, it would be as a head coach.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.